Welcome to Redvee TV's Instant Fan Reaction, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, following St Helens 21-20 Golden Point victory over Hull KR this evening at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening, David.
How are we? Told you it'd be 46-0.
And I told you it'd be a closer game, that we'd power on in the last 20 minutes, and that didn't happen either.
And that's why I brought you as the expert.
Exactly. No, that was, you know what, I think all in all it was an entertaining game. But yeah, I think we should have killed it long before we got to that last 20 minutes.
Yes, we should have indeed, considering the amount of possession we had early on in the game. I think it was something like 65% of the possession early in the first 20 minutes. And for me, I don't know, we weren't clinical at all in attack this evening. And it seemed the closer we got to the Hull KR try line, the more we were trying to force it and panic rather than do what we do best.
Yeah, we were definitely profligate tonight. We just wasteful with many chances. And you know what? A lot of them were unforced errors. Let me just put on record, absolute kudos to Hull KR tonight. They're not, when they put in a performance like that, they're not a bottom of the table team, are they? The defence was fantastic. They weren't scared of throwing it about. Whether relegation has kind of taken that out because there is no relegation, so they can play a lot more freely. Abdul and Lewis were brilliant getting them around the park as well. But I think I said it either last week or a couple of weeks ago, we were architects of our own problems there. And that's it. We should have been out of sight inside the first 22 minutes rather than after 25 minutes being 6-2 behind.
I'm just glad I now know what the word profligate means.
Yeah, have you just looked it up?
Just looked it up. A recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources. Every day's a school day. But yeah, you're quite right. The thing that Hull KR did really well tonight was obviously slow us down in attack. And I thought they were aided in that by the referees somewhat. The amount of lying on in the tackle that Hull KR were allowed to get away with throughout the game for the whole 80 minutes, for me, it stifles us. And that's when we really seem to struggle still, maybe, when we can't get that quick play the ball. Yeah.
Is that not us on us then? Is that not on us to have a plan B? That if the game is slowed down, we should be turning around. Listen, I'm not going to have a go at the referee. I'll have a go at the fact that the referee's part-time and not a full-time ref. If we're in a full-time sport, we should have full-time refs. But that's not his fault. But if the game is slowed down, that's on us to then have a plan B and go, right, this is how we're going to play the game. I think sometimes we do have a tiny bit of a lack of composure. So I'm not going to bag the ref too much for that tonight. And listen, I take people's point that it might be an issue slowing our game down. But if teams have got a plan against us, we've got to have another plan to get the win.
But for me, Kev, that's got to work both ways in the same game. And I thought we got pinged a little bit easier tonight. And I don't know whether that comes from positions in the table. I don't know whether referees... I don't know. I'm sure it's an unconscious thing. I'm not saying they consciously do it, but the teams who are probably less athletic, slower in the tackle, slower as a team, they get a little bit more leeway in games than a team like Saints who are known to be quick. And it seems to me that when we don't get off the tackle quick enough, we get pinged for it.
Yeah, listen, that's your reading of the game. I'm not necessarily going to argue with you.
I'm going to say, Kev, for anybody watching us, I'm saying this with a Saints bias, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm saying as a Saints fan. So if anybody criticises saying you're looking through rose-tinted spectacles, you're quite right. I am.
Yes.
But,
yeah. But that's it. I thought. But as I say, we were architects of our own downfall. So if the game starts being decided by what's perceived as a ref's call, then that's that's on us again, I'd say. We were untidy in attack. We dropped the ball loads. We just made loads and loads of errors. There was a pass in the first half. I think it was Alex Walmsley tried passing it on right near the line. And I don't know, that's just one that stuck in my head. And it's a, yes, we back ourselves to score. There was another one putting the ball over and them intercepting it. Listen, 8-9 times out of 10, that one sticks. Saints go in under the post, Saints go in out wide, and we're not having this conversation. But just a little bit, we were just misfiring a little bit too much tonight.
What did you make of the decision to take the 2 points early in the game? After, I know we've been battering the whole the KR try line and we'd struggled to get over, and you could probably, in hindsight, say that it helped us in the end. But for me, did that send out the wrong signal?
It can do. To be honest, I was surprised we didn't take the 2 on the first one, just to get the scoreboard over and then get the ball back and run at them. Was it something to do with the wind being in our faces in that first half, and we just thought, you know what, let's get as many points as we can on the board? Possibly. Maybe it did show them a bit too much respect, but as you say, you look at the score at the end of the game, especially at regular full time, and that penalty goal's obviously, I mean, it changes obviously the structure of the game after it, but that penalty goal has kept us in it.
Now, that late penalty to Hull KR, obviously it was given for the high shot by Kev Nagama. Listen, it's a high shot all day, and yes, probably rightfully sin-binned. Where do we stand on the rules now that when the play stops, the video ref can just decide to get involved and make the decision?
I thought he could on foul play if it's going to lead to a card. I thought that was the rule.
I thought it was only if it led to a red.
All right. So
listen, again, we may be wrong. We will clarify it with Ian Smith on Twitter. For me, the whole KR player stayed down because of the contact with James Graham's leg, and that's what knocked him sideways, not the high shot. So if he doesn't crash into James Graham's leg, he probably gets up at that point.
Yeah, well, that's it.
KR potentially go and score to try and win. So
yeah, and then it possibly goes to the match review panel, and Nagama gets pinged that way. Listen, it wasn't pretty. We hope Kane Lynette's all right after it. As you say, probably the heavier contact was with James Graham's thigh, and that's what's kind of, as you say, knocked him sideways. His eyes looked like a bit of a fruit machine with them rolling round in his head. But yeah, well, we just need that clarifying if they can go for a yellow card as well as a red.
Listen, a win is a win. 2.7% is 2.7%. We'll take that all day long. Yes,
that's it. Listen, we may well have learnt quite a few lessons from that. Do you learn lessons from absolutely banjoing a side to nil, or from literally just moving through the gears in the second half? You probably do. But when your backs are to the wall, when you're getting, like they're getting good field position, they're getting good runs on it, you're defending for your lives, that's when you learn about your teammates, and that's when you learn about probably your defensive structures. Thankfully, we kept our heads, because if you go to Golden Point, we have a pop at goal, they get the ball back, and they lost their heads on their 5th tackle, trying to throw it about a little bit, and you could see what Abdul was thinking when he kind of ran through. But they just lost their heads trying to throw it about, didn't they?
Yeah, you're right. You have to dig them out. And you know what? Of all the games that obviously we're missing at home this season, that would have been the game that you're having a bounce around the Western Terrace.
Yeah, it is.
And we'd have come out after that absolutely bouncing. Yeah,
we would. And you know what? It might have, if we'd have been doing this, as you say, straight after a game, straight off the terrace, underneath the Kieran Cunningham statue, might have glossed over a couple of things that went wrong in that, because you're coming off euphoric. Whereas when I'm sat at home and I'm just on the old cherry Coke and just kind of watching the game, thinking, I wish I was there. You can take a little bit more in, can't you? And not be swept up in a last minute or last second drop goal.
We'd have been bouncing round, Kev.
Yeah.
As much as wait for it.
Well, I am.
Ali and her family, who are in the bottom left-hand corner of that photo, celebrating each try this evening, and did us proud, Kevin.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally on telly.
The Jared Songster's flag in the top middle as well, and whoever that is celebrating, let us know, because that's a class photo.
Yeah, good on all the Saints fans. That's it. It's good to see so many getting involved in this, and getting our name in lights there.
There we go. Who says we're not famous, Kev, eh?
Well,
Ali,
still me.
We are very, very proud. Thank you very much. We've waited weeks for that. Right. Fan reactions, moving on. Oh, speaking of which, before we do, if you're currently watching this evening, on Friday evening, after the Leeds Huddersfield game, in Greenall's Club on the big screen, say cheers to the landlord, go and buy another pint, and all of you, when you go home, please watch us again, because you're stealing our views. We're getting 1 view, 25, 30 of you rather than 30 views, so there we go. We have spies in the club. We have spies in the club.
Ever the corporate you.
Right, fan reactions. Kev, Woodpeck. Tough game, sloppy at times, but dug in. Sorry, I was wrong, Kev. It was worth more than 7.2%. 7.349.
I thought it was, I thought it was 7.27. I thought it'd take us level with Warrington, but never mind. 2.72, sorry, did I say? Anyway, we'll see when the table comes out.
Okay. The Saints, not sure how we ended up in that situation, to be honest. So much possession squandered during the 80 minutes. Great to finish it off, but it was very hard work in the end. Yeah, quite right. I'd have been shaking my head. I thought we were comfortably the better team, but it didn't transpire on the scoreboard. And as you say, fair play to Hull KR. Shaz hasn't been about tonight, apart from telling me to stop moaning earlier. But yeah.
Well, that's it. It's right that we were probably, especially in that first 20-odd minutes, we were absolutely battering them. But we saw last time we played them that they'd come back into it in like the second half of the first half, and they just kept plugging away. Listen, we should have won that by a lot more, but we didn't.
Tom wouldn't say it was never in doubt or sensational. It was not sensational. I was talking more about Ben Pro, but anyway, we could have easily lost that. Only that pen that kept us in it, really. I have to say, kept that commentary though. Everything. If Hull KR made a break and passed the ball, it was sensational. Not a peep about us.
Well, never mind.
Scotty,
who's going on with it?
Anybody else? Dragons official go top again tomorrow. Why not? At the end of the day, do you know what? And I seen a tweet earlier in the week, and somebody said, do you know what? We shouldn't be worried whether we're judging on points or percentages. We should be finishing top anyway, regardless. So worry about ourselves.
Win your games. Just win your games.
Crutchy, another one who didn't get me earlier comments about if Ben Pro would say sensational more times than Saints scored points.
You also said we'd win by 30 at that point, I noticed.
I did, Kevin, yeah. I'd scaled it down from 46, so I'm getting closer to 1. Andreas, credits Hull KR and Tony Smith did out to die in our inventive fair play. Performance was sloppy start to finish, but regardless, particularly thanks to the yards well to be made. Do we perform badly at home?
Possibly. I thought, just going back to that, I thought Wellesby, obviously he was the one who made a couple of errors, a couple of knock-ons and that, but I thought he did really well. His finish for his try, where he came back in and then went on the outside, it was only subtle, but it was really, it was proper winger play. And that's it. People have been saying that it might not be good for him playing on the wing, to play centre, full-back, standoff. But you know what? He'll get more of an understanding of the game at the top level, you'd imagine, just getting minutes under his belt.
Obviously, somebody talking about golden points after to deny Hull KR a point from that game is harsh. Listen, we got stung at London last season, didn't we? When we got beat on golden points. I think we actually said at that time that if London hadn't won that game, it would have been not
travesty.
Good. I'm not a massive fan. I personally like the draw. I think golden point's a little bit of a gamble at times, a toss of a coin. But it's there, isn't it? We'll celebrate it while it's there. But yeah, I'm quite happy with draws if they were there either.
Same.
Andreas is on one there. 4 posts in 1.
Good on him.
We'll move on.
But that's it. You know what, with the golden points as well, I get the point of both teams. If it's like 20 all at full time, both teams should be getting a point from that. If you're going to have golden point, then you're turning around and saying that 80 minutes where you've gone toe to toe with each other and come out level, it's all going to be based on what has been on the main a drop goal. If you've not managed to go that drop goal in 80 minutes, I don't see why you're taking 2 points and somebody's taking none.
Yeah. Mark Monkman, the guy makes a fool of himself. He was like a giddy kid at Christmas. All right, but we won. Oh, you're not talking about me. When Ulke had that penalty, throwing the petulant comments about Saints throughout the game, it's gone on for years. I'm going to guess he might be talking about a certain ex-Wigan player.
Yeah. With
bad dress sense. Ali, there you go. Hopefully you saw my second attempt. We did indeed. Awesome. My sports reviews, decent ref. Saints win by 20.
Yeah, well, you've said as much. You said that. I don't mind the ref, but yeah, they say I'm not going to bag the ref. We've come away with a win there as well. We need a plan B as well. You can't just pin it on a referee.
Saying that, was Hull KR's last try on the back of that penalty given against Jammer for knock-on? Or the knock-on, given against Jammer, when the fella knees the ball out of him from behind as he goes to play it.
The one that Jammer then gave the penalty away for swearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one. Martin Davis, credits Hull KR again. Somebody else, and it was a stupid shot by Nagama. Yeah, it was silly considering we were 2 points up and you knew they were going to go for a penalty. We didn't need to do that.
Listen, I'm not gonna try and defend Nagama fully here, but a little bit of me thinks he's tired. Is he going for almost like a ball steal, going to dislodge it?
Yeah.
And he's got it horrendously wrong as he's gone into the tackle because the bloke. I'm not saying he's not completely on his way down, but he's not quite at the angle that Nagama's probably expecting.
Yeah, is that how most people tackle as well, Kev? Generally, they tackle by going in like that hard, and it's just his head's in the wrong position and got clocked.
Well, yeah, it's Nagama's tackle technique. Or that tackle technique, not a maul. But yeah, listen, it was a deserved penalty. I'm looking for reasons why Nagama might have done it.
Scotty again, KR proved themselves no mugs. Some deficiencies that need addressing rather now than later. Yeah, fair enough. As you said, I think you made the point earlier in this, Kev, we probably learnt more from that than Banjo and someone.
Yeah.
Redvee got away with a couple of calls that went against Hull KR. We got a few against us as well, but anyway. Emma Springford doesn't like the golden point rule either. Oh, there we go. Kev Cunningham was mentioned who we were on about earlier. And Bryce said, I thought the video off can be used for that. Yes, we're going to try and clarify that. Bryce discussed. Yeah, saddened. Knock on against Graham. Hull KR player knees it out. That's a good one from Duke Silver. It'd be great if we could complete a set of 6. I'd like to see our completion percentage tonight. We seem to lose a lot of ball handling error-wise.
Well, we did the same last week. I think I mentioned it last week that our completion rate was poor. It's something that needs to be fixed, and that's on the players. It's not necessarily on the coaching staff. If you out on the field, the coaching staff might tell you what play to run, but they're not handling the ball, are they? Yeah,
Jamie Pindick goes on about that. He says, got away with one. So many individual errors. Graham and Bentley making 3 or 4 errors each. It might be Bentley's worst performance in the Saints shirt. Well, yeah, because he's had a lot of great ones lately. So, do you know what? You'd rather get it out the system tonight. Must be better next week. We must. Aiden, some great kicks on display from both sides. Do you know what I think we struggle with, Kev? That short kick on the short side, when it's like, when it's a jump ball with 3 or 4 players from each team around it. We seem to
the one
advertising that.
Yeah, it's gone up to Gracie's side. That's it. I think a little bit of momentum from your attacker, who then gets a better leap than either Regan Grace or Josh. Well, Josh actually did a decent job at centre trying to stop the jump, just by kind of holding his run and position. And that's it. If you've got a little bit of momentum, you're going to go up higher than Regan Grace, who's from near enough a standing start. It's something to look at for the coaching staff, and I'm sure they will be.
Yeah, Chris Harvey saying, obviously, again, two completions too low, and we need to sort it out next week, but we grinded out with a man down. Yeah, do you know what? We did it with 12 in the end as well, which was good to see. Gareth Fishwick, knock on last try. No one has mentioned that. It'd be harsh on that picture even.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll watch it again in a bit, but I didn't have too many complaints about it.
Yeah, Gary Carter says, Gary Potter, not Gary Carter. He is the excellent journalist. Gary Potter says, Saints need hard, close games to keep them grounded. Can't always put 50 on sides. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
And we're done on the tweets. I'm back. But yeah. I have. Saints 21, Hull KR Zoe.
I ran out of twos. I'm just glad it didn't finish 22-20. But yeah, listen, it's a got out of jail result. Not a great performance. I thought when we got a chance to go for a drop goal with Theo, you could see him setting up for it early. I quite like that. I quite like the fact that we knew what we were doing. It wasn't a rush thing. It was a case of let's go for it now.
I thought that as well. I thought it was a good idea, and I was thinking maybe we should go for it when obviously the play stopped for the whole KR player down. It gave us a chance to properly set up for it. So yeah.
And we spoke to James Roby after the London game as well last year, didn't we? And we asked him what the theory was for golden points, whether you received the kickoff or whether you kick to them. And didn't he say we wanted to receive the kickoff, run it in as hard as we can, put a kick in, or try and get in a position where you can have a pop-up goal. So something similar happened tonight. Whether that was I didn't see the call for it, but whether that was the kind of theory that's gone through tonight as well. Whatever happened, it worked.
Yeah. Right, let's go and enjoy our weekend. Big game next week against a little team from down the road.
Yep.
Yeah, happy days. And if you're still watching this in Greenhold's Club, the landlord has just said the next pint you buy is free. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you next week for the preview show on Redvee TV. Have a good weekend.